GM, we are live. I just discovered that it used to be when you started those intro videos, it automatically muted your mic, and I found it today it did not. So I apologize for that. I was actually testing my microphone, and I had my stream open on YouTube in the background, and I heard myself, which didn't seem right. So anyway, I'll make sure not to do that again. Everybody, good morning to you, Skeletor, GM. Thank you for coming by. Dirty P in here. Good morning, and best ball on call. GM early risers. Hey, thanks so much, you all, for coming in this morning. We got a pretty good show. We got a pretty good show lined up here. Hey, Tim 1387. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out today. I'm just going to hop right into a BBM. So the puppy filled, rookies and sophomores filled. I checked the eliminator and sprint, nowhere near filling right now. So I'm going to hop into this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If anyone wants to hop in, please feel free. We're waiting for 11. We're waiting for 11. We might be here. We might be here for a few minutes. But I will... I'll wait this one out because, frankly, there's not a whole ton going on. I believe with ADP chasing coming on at 10, my plan was to do 2 drafts if I could get them in, and then ideally do maybe some Badge Bros Brawl. I have not done any Badge Bros. Last year, I made the finals in it. It was a fun contest. I completely forget the strategy. I don't remember how those rooms go. I plan on doing quite a few of them. So, these early ones might be, we might be learning together. But, yeah. Hey, Tim, this is a shout out to Jack. Tim, your dad is one of the good ones. So, Jack, if you're watching, have a wonderful day, and you got an awesome dad. Thanks again for coming in and hanging with us this morning. Joel, GM to you. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. Dirty P says we can't draft without the Ducks, can we? I will get the Ducks going immediately. Badge Bros Brawl, super fun. You have to explain the meta to us. Skeletor, when I learn the meta, I will explain it. I don't actually know the meta. I forget. I'm going to have to figure out how to pull up my team from last year to even see what worked. But yeah, Tim, that's awesome. That is awesome. I have a little guy. He's around 2, and he's super fun. And so, yeah, that's awesome. Dirty Pete, GM, maybe you want to try Night Drive. Night Drive is a little distracting, I think. Lo-fi is okay. No, lo-fi is the distracting one, I think. Anyway, we'll just feed the Ducks. We'll do feeding the Ducks because I'm kind of used to that. I get a little, I can get a little squirrely if the audio is wonky. Yesterday, I hadn't restarted my computer over the weekend, and I started to stream, and DraftKings notoriously can kind of eat the memory in your computer, and I listened back. My audio was terrible. So I appreciate all of you who stuck through the audio issues yesterday and were able to draft with us. Chad, I made the finals last year. Also, Chad, I don't know the meta. I don't know the meta. It's like draft good players. Skeletor, with it being a six person pods, like all the teams are super teams. I think there's big questions on like what you do at quarterback. Do you push quarterback to late? Do you take elite quarterback? There's a lot of things you can do in Badge Bros that you can't do in other formats, and I kind of need to do a few of them to get a feel for what makes sense. Kind of look back at last year at what worked and what didn't in those departments, because you're not going to draft a Badge Bros Brawl team that you look at and you're like, this team is bad. Like, the team's going to look awesome, but it's just figuring out exactly how to structure it and where the draft pockets in there are, because they're so different from BBM. But yeah, I don't want to like give a bunch of advice on what to do there, because I legitimately don't remember. So I just thought it'd be fun to maybe run a couple of those before we get on out of here. And XWall, GM to you. We're waiting for 2. If anyone wants to hop in, we had ample opportunity to get in this one. I don't feel bad. And XWall, I did not pull one of my famous rug pulls on you all. This was as easy to get into as a stream draft ever will be. Hey, DQ105, thanks so much for coming in. Good morning to you. And yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it is great, man. I'm super happy for you. Cool. Draft the best players, win it. Sometimes we overcomplicate these things. Sometimes we make fantasy sports harder than it needs to be, and we just get back to our roots. Take good players, and everything will sort itself out. We worry about all these other things, but at the end of the day, like last year, if you took Saquon and Henry, you probably advanced. You probably had a pretty good year. Those were who you needed. You could tinker around the edges with everything else, but if you didn't take good players, you were really fighting an uphill battle. All right, we are down to one person. If anyone wants to hop in, now is your last chance, and we're off. Let's see what we get in as far as what position we get. We are pick 8. All right, so I already see some people in here. It looks like I don't see any of you all on the left, although J-Dubs, I feel like that's one of you. I think I shouldn't. Is that you, No, it's James Worth, right? Is that you, Joel Worth, rather? All right, let's see. This may be Joel. Dirty P is in here, and I don't see anyone else, but of course, Big Fudgy is in here. Terrific name, that Big Fudgy. Yeah, if anyone else is in here, let me know. All right, yes, Joel, it is you at the 5. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, so let's see. Draft starts in 20 seconds. I can pull the board up. All right. Yeah, so we are back out of DraftKings mode, back to Underdog. And what is going on? Okay, the draft hadn't started yet. I thought they were picking. I thought my screen had frozen already. All right, here we go. So I haven't drafted too much out of the 8 lately. I think lately more at 32, I've been into taking the elite quarterbacks. I think I want to catch up a little bit on the elites. If I look at my exposures in BBM, let me see. Who am I light on as far as elite quarterback? So Allen, I've only got 4% Allen. I've got 6% Lamar. And I've got 1% Daniels. Good God. All right, well, this might be a Jaden Daniels team. I'm not intentionally fading these guys. I just evidently are not taking them. So I probably should fix that. What have I done? I don't even know what screen I'm in. Oh, my God. All right, we're going to take... I'm going to take Malik Neighbors because to me that seems a little more fun than Puka. So I'm going to take Neighbors in this draft. We're going to go to the draft. All right. I appreciate you all letting me do that on the fly. I definitely will consider taking Jaden Daniels in this draft. I do not want to be at one Jaden Daniels draft. That seems like a way to lose all your money. I really want my elite quarterbacks to be around the. I'm kind of coming around to the idea of getting above market in them, which means I'm really going to have to start taking them pretty heavily. Let me get, nope, not big board. All right, I updated my BBM exposures, and I already see a typo. It says that I've done 5 BBMs. That's not right. I've done 65 BBMs. All right. You're all super patient with me here. Okay, excellent. All right. So if you want to see my top exposures at each position, it is now scrolling across the bottom. If you're drafting with me, please avert your eyes so you don't you don't see the guys I like. We've got Neighbors here. London goes, let's do a Neighbors Bowers team. I think I'm a little bit low on Bowers, and this is a nice Week 17 matchup. We'll build a Neighbors Bowers team. I feel like I've backed off of Bowers a little bit. I don't want to be fully out on him. And again, I do think this could be a kind of underrated Week 17 game. Skeletor says Badge Bros Brawls might be the contest to load up on Rice, have him in a few teams as my wide receiver 5. Yeah, that seems like the perfect team to do that because you can fill out your starting roster, and then some before you have to take Rice. And you're probably in a 6-person draft. You might run into rooms where most of the room is just out on him. Like I think he's off of a lot of people's draft boards right now. So you could really get him as a potentially huge faller when you're only in a room of 6. And that seems like guys like him, guys like Ayuk, I think become a lot more viable because you really just don't need them. You don't need them necessarily early in the season because you're again, they're not in the slot where you expect them to be hitting your roster. You're not making that up later. They are the guys who you're getting later. Lay the House RM King. Hey, GM, thank you so much for coming in. Lay the House RM, one of the good ones out there in gambling Twitter. Greg VS Morning Gang. Hey, good morning to you, Greg. Thanks for coming in. I keep scouring. Training camp has begun. We're off and running. We're getting news, and I keep waiting for something to come from the Dolphins, and I feel like nothing exciting has happened, but we'll see. They are one of the teams rumored to be in on Noah Fant. I don't know if that's actually like with any substance or people just looking at rosters and thinks Fant makes sense. Would like to see that. That would be kind of cool if the Dolphins upgraded that. As much as I like Waller and I've been taking him lately, I'd be okay with with Waller being kind of a second tight end option there, because I don't know if this Dolphins team is gonna win with Darren Waller in 2025. DQ 105. I'm stacking up all the Niners, leaving with at least one. Yeah, I'll definitely run a badge. Well, I say definitely. If the timing lines up, I'd love to run one of those before we get out of here, because I do think those are really fun contests, and I haven't done any yet. So you'll get to watch me and interstellar yell at the computer as I pick bad players. It is pretty fun when someone is just doing something for the first time. You can watch. They don't pick up Noah Fant. I just don't know what the deal is. Waller is so unserious. Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough scene if that's really the way we're planning to play things. All right, so let's see. We've got Neighbors and Bowers. By ADP, it's Allen. I do need more Daniels, but I don't know if I want to force it. Let's see. By ADP, I think I'm inclined to just take Josh Allen, and I'll catch up on Daniels on a different team. I'm going to max this contest, so I don't need this to be the team where I take him. The 8 hole is pretty fertile ground to take Daniels. I almost feel like if I do want some teams where I'm taking Daniels over on the left side of the board, because he's not going to go there too often. So I could get some, if I'm going to be lower on a guy, maybe pairing him with like Chase, Jefferson, Saquon, where he's going to be paired with a lot less frequently. Maybe that's a good way to kind of leverage the shares I do have, just sort of thinking about it, and then seeing if where does Debo go? Debo goes at 70, which means if you do take him in this range over here, he's pretty live to come back to you in the 6th round. So maybe that's something I'll look at doing. When I think about doing my Daniels drafts, taking him early in the 3rd rather than late. So we'll see. Again, if I can get up naturally to 8%, that's fine. But I think that's something that's something to consider doing when you're lower on a guy. Maybe taking some swings at building a little bit uniquely with them, because you're just going to have less bullets, so you might as well be trying some to capture some uniqueness, is what I'm saying. Hartman, GM to you. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us this morning. Greg says, I will say Waller on the team might be great for NWI Snapshare. We all know he isn't blocking anyone, and yeah. I think that's one of the reasons I'm bullish on Westbrook Ikine getting on the field, is that he is the type of player who will get his hands dirty and do some do some in the blocking game here. I don't know if I want to go Allen Cook, take plenty of more. I'm almost feel like I'm going to switch it up a little and take a Cortland Sutton share here. I don't take a whole ton of Sutton. I feel like when I do, it's when I already have I'm trying to do something with Worthy and Sutton, build a Chiefs stack. But again, I have so much Jameson Williams there. Rashee Rice again. I'm in the wait and see mode. I don't know where his ADP is going to settle. This still feels too early. I got plenty of DJ Moore. I have way too much Jameson Williams as it is. I like Metcalf. I like Devonta. I like Pickens. Those guys are all fine. But trying not to build the same teams over and over. and spice it up a little bit. Try to take Sutton over here on the right side of the board when he normally is kind of like hangs out over here, without sacrificing too much projection there. All right, let's see what our friends are doing. We haven't checked in on them. Dirty P, he's got Puka, Drake London, Breece Hall, Omari, and Hampton. Great picks. I would have taken Hampton at 41 if Dirty P had let him slide. Let's see what Mr. Worth is doing. He's got Bijan, MHJ, JSN, and DJ Moore. I like those guys all quite a bit as well. I think these are reasonable teams. And I realized I was looking at KCell 17's team, not Mr. Worth's team. Yeah, KCell. Actually, I take back everything I said. I don't like this team whatsoever. You're not in the stream. All right, Mr. Worth, you've got CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Taylor, T. Higgins, and James Cook. Yeah, that's a nice fall on Higgins. I was going to say that, the further to the right you can get him, the more likely you are to get Burrow coming back. But Mr. Young Naj took no chances, and he snapped off Burrow from the one hole, which I think is fine. If you have Chase and you don't have Higgins, you're pretty thin to end up with Burrow if that's the stack you're going for. All right, for us again, we're still in fertile ground for both running back and receiver. This room so far hasn't given any huge ADP values in any position. Let's see. I think around the turn I could still potentially get a wide receiver I like, but we'll see what the room gives to us. I am tempted by Ridley. Now, we know it's going to be Ward. Will Levis had a season-ending surgery. I think we were pretty sure it was going to be Ward, but I do think the market might react to that a little bit more than than we all think things are priced in. We might see Ward rise a little bit because that possibility has been eliminated. I think there might be a little bit of a drop off at running back. It's possible if there's a running back run, then I'm going to lose out on Kamara, who I do think is a shade better than Connor, Harvey, and Travion here. So I'll just take Kamara here. I really do like Waddle, Flowers, and Ridley. I think they're a bit of a tier break then to Olave, Jennings, and Addison. But I'm willing to also take, a Caleb here or a Travion if I have to. So trying to stay a little bit flexible with this range of the draft. But again, we will see what the good folks in the room live to us. Dirty P, he takes Rome Odunze. That makes plenty of sense there on his team. And the board flips around. Joel says this is a tight room. Yeah, I heard about some kind of wild rooms where people, there are a lot of big fallers. I think that just the people that draft in the mornings don't do that. I feel like you get very, the drafts in the morning tend to stick pretty close to ADP, just in my experience, which is why, I do my drafts on stream, but I think I like doing them this early and then later because my teams do not look the same, and I kind of like that. I don't want all my teams to look alike, even if I feel like they're good. We don't know what's going to be. We don't know what's going to be good in the end. So, all right, let's see what is coming back to us. Harvey, Henderson, Juwan Jennings, Addison, Chris Godwin. Man, this is maybe I would feel a little better if I had taken a receiver there and now I was taking a running back. I'm going to queue up Henderson. I think Caleb is fine here. I think I'd been taking Caleb maybe ahead of Henderson every now and then. Let's check. All right. Yeah, I'm going to just take Henderson here. Addison will get suspended. I think he's going to drop a little bit more. Chris Godwin has been falling with the news that he's not going to be ready for the start of camp. I don't think the market had really priced that in. I think we had all hoped he could be there for week one. He still may be, but it's not. We got bad news, right? We did not get good news on Chris Godwin, so I think he's going to drop here. Again, I think Addison's going to fall in this contest. That's going to continue to be open all the way up to kickoff, just about. So he might drop a little bit. I'm okay passing on Jordan Addison there. And if I take Henderson, then I have a little bit more flexibility with my next pick on where I go. All right, so let's see, Mr. Worth, he takes the fall on Addison there. I think that's perfectly fine as a fourth receiver. That makes a ton of sense. So since we last checked on him, he added James Cook, Travis Hunter, and Jordan Addison. I like both of those picks. Travis Hunter has slipped a little bit from where he went, so you have him a little bit cheaper than some other people do in BBM, which I always like to see. Addison, again, he was at about 60, I think, when the contest opened, so he is falling, but I don't know if that fall has fallen yet. Greg says, I feel like I'm doing more this year than years past. My teams look the same, and I feel way too confident about that. Yeah, I feel like I did that a lot last year. I was like, oh, I really like these teams, but sometimes when you like a team, it's because you built it and you have your player takes and you hit them. And sometimes if you're constantly making the same 2v2 or 1v1, you're absorbing a lot more risk than you really want to be, or you even realize you're doing. So I have tried to not, I've tried to let ADP make a lot of decisions. I've tried to not, take the same guys over and over and over. I mean, obviously, if you look at my exposures, I do that to some extent, but not like crazy. And I try not to do it too early in the draft. Like, I am making a big stand on Jameson Williams. I'm willing to do that. I accept the risk of that. I know I'm going to be lighter on the guys around him, but I don't have a ton of guys with above 30% exposure, like Scatabo and JMO. I think they're the only two where I'm doing that. So I feel like I'm trying to be very deliberate about my exposures rather than just being like in this range, Debo, Reed, and Golden. I'm trying to sprinkle in, which ones I take. But, this as an example, I almost always click Golden over Reed, even though I think it's pretty darn close. So maybe if Debo goes, maybe this time I take Jaden Reed instead of Matthew Golden. But I will take Debo here. If the McLaurin holdout continues, we could see Debo being a riser. I think this is going to get sorted before camp, just because I don't think McLaurin actually has any leverage. I think McLaurin, really likes the team. Steve from Fanspeak, he's a big Commanders fan, and he said at McLaurin or at Jaden Daniels was doing some kind of meet and greet or social event, and he wore a McLaurin jersey to it. Like they're buddies. So I think this gets sorted before camp, but I also just in a vacuum like I like Debo quite a bit. GM Tiger Uppercut, thank you so much for coming in this morning. Mathology Chad, you're cooking today. Yes, I love to hear it, Mathology. Thanks so much for coming in, and I hope you like. I'm glad that you like the team so far. Let's see if we can land the plane. If we go by ADP, it's really just one of these running backs. I don't think I have any kind of need to add another quarterback. I'll just take Aaron Jones here. He's been a little bit of a riser, but I like him a lot more than B-Rob. I don't take a ton of Ayuk, but yeah, this room got very wide receiver thirsty all of a sudden. I feel like normally there's like a Cup or Higgins there, and they went off at 87 and 88, so they're gone. Hartman asks, are you bumping Igbuka at all? Godwin not ready. I think that will lean me more. I think that will lend me more towards taking more Igbuka because, if you'd think they would generally bring the rookie along slowly if the veterans are up to speed, but he might have to hit the ground running. I don't know what this means for McMillians. I don't know if that puts him back in the. I don't know if he sees a bump if he gets on the field a little more. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see kind of the downstream effects of this. But certainly, Igbuka, first round pick. He is likely to be a riser, and we see him up at 86 here. He was in the 90s. I don't know if he's going to continue to steam up if we continue to get word that Godwin is just not going to be ready. Mathology, great stuff yesterday. Enjoyed that. DQ 105. I was driving just about all day yesterday, so I didn't catch that. So let me know what that is. Yeah, Mathology, let me know where to catch you, because I will watch that on replay. I apologize, I missed that. Greg, does it seem easier for McMillian to fill the gap since he's got a season under the offense? Well, I think there's an argument for that, and I think we'll probably learn a lot in as camp progresses, where they're using guys, and it certainly could be. Incumbency is valuable, but I think I think the pedigree of Igbuka is more, is very valuable, and the fact that the team drafted Igbuka, like he is the new regime's guy, makes me think that, we're going to overthink it a little bit if we don't just take the first round rookie that the new team got. Joel says my team's fine. It seems fine, and I'll hate it. I'll have to check it out. And Tiger Uppercut, McLaurin finally got good QB last year. He was in purgatory for so long. Yeah. He I was about to click on Coleman, and he just vaporized before my eyes. So, anytime you can take two Saints, you got to do it. But I do think I need a wide receiver here more than anything else. Oh, did I do it? I didn't do it. I was going to take Bo Nix. I was going to take Bo Nix and then make this a 2 QB team. But, this is a young man's game, and my fingers were not nimble enough to make that happen. So, you know what? If it's okay if we don't get Nix there, because I was going to say I could probably just shut it down with Allen and Nix. That's okay if we don't end up getting there, but I was thinking my second quarterback options are pretty much relegated to Geno Smith to pair with Bowers, and then Jackson Dart. So maybe this is looking at sort of a Dart Geno 3 QB after Allen. Like we can not take a quarterback in this range. I'm almost always taking a quarterback kind of in this rounds 9 through 13 range, but maybe if we back off that, we can we can scoop up some of these running backs like a Dobbins, Scatavo, Sharps, or Bateman or Burden. I think those guys are nice picks there too. I like Mark Andrews, but I think taking another position player is just going to be better. Huaim, sup fam? Hey, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out with us. I hope you're having a good morning. So, all right, we've got Kamara, Travion, and Aaron Jones. Let's see what Dirty P does here. He takes Sharp. So I take an absolute ton of Scatabo, but I feel like with Neighbors, Sutton, Debo, and Shaheed, I want to take one more shot at receiver. Receiver really can kind of go off a cliff on us here. So let's take the upside swing in a Luther Burden share. I know we already missed Caleb as a second quarterback. That's okay. I'm really just not worried about quarterback. I've kind of made this bet on Josh Allen. It would have been nice if we had gotten Keon Coleman, but he went, where did he go? He went right before, or 2 picks before us here at 102. So, all right. Mathology and Neil Orfield did a stream marathon. Awesome. I will check that out because I also have done like no marathons, and I might dip my toe in the drafters water. So I imagine there's quite a bit of carryover. So very cool, Mathology. I'll have to check that out. Saints up. Yes. Yeah. Anytime we can just jam. Tyler Shuck. He's now live to be a member of this crew here. Hartman, I think that it's a weekly thing, but I might be lying. Well, if it's not a weekly thing, Hartman, I'm gonna complain to you because you promised it was. Tim accidentally did a slow puppy. Gosh, a lot of people did this. Because when they switch it to slow or fast only, the option just disappears completely. So you're kind of not. Yeah, I know that tripped up a ton of people. I think Pete said he got into 2, and he was not trying to do slows. I think that happened to quite a few people. Dirty P says, I'm trying to avoid my usual clicks. I'm drowning in Mason and Scatabo. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Dirty P, right? Is sometimes we get in these ranges and we're like, okay, it's round 10. It's round 9, round 10. This is where I take my running back. This is where I take my quarterback. And so you just end up like omitting guys or building the same way every time. And then you get to the playoffs and things go well, and then like you just get wiped out one week because you just, all your teams were kind of fragile in the same way, and you didn't see it coming. All right, let's see what this team needs. I wouldn't mind another running back. And Njoku's a nice fall if he comes to us. Ray Davis, of course, makes sense with Josh Allen. I think I'm just going to take Njoku here, and then I can be good. No, I'm going to take Kincaid here. That makes more sense. I'm just going to take Kincaid. There's a bunch of people who don't have tight ends. If I take Kincaid, that enables me to stop with just Bowers and Kincaid. I can make this a 2 tight end team and feel good about it. 1v1, I do prefer Njoku, but I think Allen is kind of the tiebreaker. And again, like 2 people have no tight ends. So I don't think they were both going to. I would have been shocked if one of them came back to me there. Mathology says, doing a Monday show with Neil on his channel, mostly talking about how to build high floor, high ceiling teams. Love it. I will. That's great to hear. I'm gonna have to check that out. DQ 105. Time to build those robust RB teams. 30p. Yeah, you gotta switch. You gotta get uncomfortable. Especially if you're building. Single entry. If you want to do what you want to do, that's fine. I actually feel like in single entry is the time to kind of super value hound it, because you do get everybody grabbing their player takes, and sometimes if you're willing to just like sit at the bottom of the cash machine picking the money off the floor, you can build some really good teams. So this is unfortunate. I really didn't want to have to pick between Tootin and Ray Davis, but I think continuing this Buffalo bet makes sense. I love Tootin. I get a ton of him, but I think Ray Davis is I don't think he's going to catch. I don't think he's going to catch passes from Josh Allen, but if the offense is really humming along, then Davis could be a beneficiary of that. He wasn't quite the like goal line back I think a lot of us remember him as, but again, he's going to be a year 2 guy, and he is in this range of running backs where I'm just kind of like clicking them at ADP, and he makes sense on a team where we're betting on Buffalo. For the audio listeners, we've got Josh Allen, Alvin Kamara, Travion Henderson, Aaron Jones, Ray Davis, wide receiver room of Malik Neighbors, Cortland Sutton, Deebo Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, and Luther Burden, and then tight ends of Bowers and Kincaid. I like the team. Maybe wide receivers a little lighter than I normally build, but again, we took Bowers and we took Allen. So when you take 2 big detours early from running back and receiver, you can end up in these positions where it feels a little lighter, feels a little bit lighter than normal. All right, so thinking about quarterback, we've got Geno is who we need. We've got Stafford and Ward. I might just take Geno here rather than push it. I don't know if any of these receivers are really worth risking that push. I don't know where the Jacoby Myers drafter is. Obviously, Josh Palmer wouldn't be a bad pick with Allen, but Allen, you don't need to go crazy stacking. I think I'm just going to take Geno, because if I miss out on Geno, I'm going to, I don't really want Dart and Shuck. I think one or the other is plenty of a sketchy rookie quarterback firepower on this team. And also, this does enable us to stop at 2 quarterbacks if we wanted to. I'm fine if it's just Allen and Geno, but I do like to add that third late. So we'll see. We'll see who this ends up being. Who Hames, you got a Drafters account? That's a great question, Who Hames. I may have signed up for Drafters a couple of years ago. I don't know, but if I don't, then I'm going to have to sign up. I'm going to have to sign up for one. But I vaguely think I may have joined and never deposited. I'm not 100% sure. Greg says, what's the next low dollar contest, dudes? You got to think there's a puppy 3 eventually. I don't know. I feel like they're going to drop something because the lobby is kind of barren of low dollar stuff. All right, let's see the board coming back to us. I think it's a pretty clear Josh Palmer pick if he's there. Jaden Blue's falling on that report that he may or may not be lazy. We don't know. Austin Eckler's fine. These other receivers are good. Demario Douglas is I think a week 16 bring back, but let's just take Palmer. I think that pick makes more sense as a sixth receiver. We don't really know who the wide receiver one is in Buffalo, but there's a reasonable chance it's Josh Palmer. So, we've now got 4 Bills. I think that's fine. I don't have any Eagles, but what are you going to do? Maybe they maybe they blow out the Eagles so bad it's Ray Davis salting away the game. That's the story we're going to tell ourselves as far as week 17 goes. But right now we've got 2, 4, 6, 2. We've got Allen and Geno at quarterback, Alvin Kamara, Travion Henderson, Aaron Jones, Ray Davis. Wide receiver room of Malik Neighbors, Cortland Sutton, Deebo Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, Luther Burden, and Josh Palmer. And in tight ends of Bowers and Kincaid. Not too bad. Tells a story. I'm surprised Cam Ward came all the way around, so maybe we could have pushed Geno, but honestly, I probably would have just taken Josh Palmer there. So we got them in reverse picks. Let's see what our friends have been up to. Dirty P, since adding, we haven't checked on him in a while. So he took Puka, London, Breece Hall, Marion Hampton. We got that far. Romo Dunze, and then added Juwan Jennings, Jaden Reed, Jaden Higgins, Caleb Williams, Zach Charbonnet, Rashad White, CJ Stroud, Matt Stafford, and Mason Taylor. So you were able to stack. So all 3 of these quarterbacks are stacked, which is pretty nice there. So Dirty P, I like the team you've done. Let's see what Mr. Worth has got. So since he added Hunter and Addison, he took David Montgomery, Brian Robinson, Brandon Ayuk, Dak Prescott, Colton Loveland, Trevor Lawrence, Cedric Tillman, Brenton Strange, and Will Shipley chasing. I like all those picks. Will Shipley is probably a guy I would have tried to snag around here in backup running back country, to be my kind of fig leaf of a week 17 situation, but that's fine. Geno, of course, is a week 17 with Neighbors, so I do like building out that particular game. Let's see what comes to us. Austin Eckler, I probably would have taken there. There goes Jerome Ford, who's been rising. I think it's just Rico Dowdle here. I've been taking a lot of Miles Sanders. I think Rico Dowdle is also a perfectly reasonable click. Yeah, I'm making sure I didn't have too many week 14 buys. I'm going to add, at least one more running back, and then probably one more running back, one more receiver, and then a rookie quarterback of some kind. But again, if I don't get the rookie quarterback, that's fine. I don't need to go too crazy. All right. Dirty P says yes. No, yeah. Anytime you got to build those robust time. Wow. Anytime to build those robust RB teams. Dirty P agrees. Tim says loves Deebo. George Kittle was defending him on a podcast I was listening to. Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting a nice discount on Deebo. I'm willing to say that, pneumonia is serious. He had pneumonia last year, and you're a professional athlete who is constantly training and pushing themselves. And, when you have pneumonia, you kind of need to take it easy for a couple of weeks. And I don't think he ever had a chance to do that. Now, did he spend those couple of weeks just like eating everything in sight? It looks like he did, but you know what? Sometimes camera angles can be unflattering, so I don't know. I'm willing to give him a little bit of a pass here. All right, board coming back to us. Let's see. This is Thornton would make Geno kind of a triple. I almost feel like Slayton just feels like a better pick to me than Thornton does. I don't know. I feel like Darius Slayton is actually kind of like a real guy. I think him and Neighbors is going to lock up quite a bit of the pass catching over there in New York. This will push me more towards taking Jackson Dart than Tyler Shuck. But again, I think that Thornton is a much thinner bet to have spike weeks than than Slayton is. I know Thornton's, kind of like a big speed guy, so you think that's going to lead to some potential spike weeks, but he does feel like he could be very low in the catch department, whereas we've seen Darius Slayton break DFS slates before. I know this is a thing that can happen, and they just gave him a good contract, so I don't want to get too cute with that, taking the rookie that we're hoping is like a Darius Slayton. It's like the classic mystery box pick there, in my opinion. Obviously, I don't want to take Slayton every time, but I do feel like I'm comfortable with just a Geno skinny there. Who Hames knows the guy with the promo code? Yes, I will. I have a few people with promo codes. I've got you. I've got Steve. So I don't know, but I actually think I may have signed up. If not, though, I will make sure that somebody can reap the promo rewards there. Al Boogie, Chad, hey GM Al Boogie, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. Love Henderson too. Patriots will be running the ball a lot. Hey, Tim, I'm glad you like the team. The peasants like myself need a $3-5 coffee. Greg, I need that. I like the small dollar contests, and I think they're a lot of fun, and they're good for the ecosystem and keeping people engaged. You like that Mason Taylor click, getting good CLV on that for sure. Hey, Dirty P, I love Mason Taylor. I think he's one of my favorite late tight end clicks. Tim loves the $5 contest too. Mason is live to be the number 2 target for what it's worth. Mason. Yes. Jesus Christ. I was thinking the running back on the the running back on the Vikings who doesn't catch passes. But yes, Mason Taylor. Yes, he definitely could be. I definitely could see that path for him. Let's queue up Jackson Dart. I don't see a need to push that. We'll take Dart, and then we'll take our favorite late running back there. Mathology says, lean into that uneasy feeling at wide receiver. We may have been trained incorrectly that we need to win the flex at wide receiver. I think you're right. I think it's running back. Steve over at Fanspeak has been pounding the table that it's running back, and I agree. And last year I had that epiphany where we're playing BRs and we're like, oh, we should fill the flex with a running back. It's like, well, isn't this the same scoring as BBM? It's like, oh no, but it's different because the rosters are bigger. But it's the same scoring. It's the same game. Like, I don't know. I think we've been doing it all wrong. I think running back in the flex is how you actually win this. DK might be different because it's full point, full PPR. But I feel like an underdog, like you hit the wide, you hit the home runs at the running back, and I don't know, things start taking care of themselves. Speaking of home run at running back, I think we just take Taj Brooks. If he's actually the backup running back in Cincinnati, then this is just huge contingent upside in round 18. These are all at this point contingent bets. So we'll take Taj Brooks. The team will end up being a 3-6-7-2 with Allen, Geno, and Dart. Running back room of Kamara, Henderson, and Aaron Jones, with Ray Davis, Rico Dowdle, and Taj Brooks. Wide receiver room of Malik Neighbors, Cortland Sutton, Debo Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, Luther Burden, Josh Palmer, and Darius Break the Slayton, and Brock Bowers and Kincaid at tight end. I like the team. I think this team is fine. It's not like, we didn't get any huge ADP values, but I feel like the team came together anyway. So definitely not too unhappy with this. Let's see what our friends did. Let's see Dirty P. It may boot me here when this person makes their pick, and I'll come back and look. Dirty P went 3-6-6-3. He's got right. Dirty P went 3-6-6-3. He went Caleb, CJ Stroud, Matt Stafford, Breece Hall, Omarion Hampton, Zach Charbonnet, Rashad White, Jarquez Hunter, and Kyle Monungai. I like your Breece Hall, Hampton kind of anchoring it with then some pretty hefty contingent upside. Although Jarquez Hunter, I don't know if he's going to be more contingent upside or more standalone plus contingent, but either way, I like those picks. And of course, we've got an ambiguous situation in Chicago, so I don't mind the Monungai pick. I take plenty of him. Puka, Drake London, Romo Dunze, Juwan Jennings, Jaden Reed, and Jaden Higgins. Yeah, I like that you stopped at 6 and you made up the other positions. I think if you're ever going to stop at 6, if you've taken 6 by pick 88. You've kind of made your bed there. And then very late tight end room: Mason Taylor, Elijah Arroyo, and Rondé Gadsden. Hey, 3 rookie tight ends. That is a risky bet, but we think that Taylor's going to be out there kind of from the get-go. Elijah Arroyo, now that Fant's gone, he's a big riser, and we'll see if he wins out the job. But if he does, I think he's only going to continue to come up. And Gadsden, they've been saying good things about him. So, yep, high upside room, obviously high risk tight end room, but you're using as little draft capital as possible to build out a room that could potentially be a big swing. So I like that. I like that build there. Let's see what Mr. Worth did, and then I will probably just hop in another. So J Dubs. All right, you went 2, 6, 7, 3 with Dak and T-Law. So you said I am out on the 3 quarterback meta. We're going to do things our way. Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, David Montgomery, B-Rob, Will Shipley, and Nick Chubb. Strong running back room there. CD Lamb, T. Higgins, Travis Hunter, Jordan Addison, Brandon Ayuk, Cedric Tillman, and Alec Pierce. I like all of these guys. Pierce, again, the Slappy community just hates Alec Pierce, even though all he does is, get there on monster efficiency and have 800 yards that nobody seems to want. But yeah, I like your room. You've got Lamb and Hunter paired there, along with Brent Strange. So your tight end room of Loveland, Strange, and Luke Musgrave. Interesting pick there, Luke Musgrave. In the immortal words of Pete, speak on that. I'm curious to the Musgrave pick, because I know, I don't know if you're viewing him as a contingent tight end back, or contingent tight end value, or you think there's a chance it's more of a split work with Kraft. But I don't think Luke Musgrave is drafted frequently, so that's an interesting selection on this team. So yeah, very good job, everyone, and let's just hop in another. I think if we get in another BBM, then I will be able to get this done before the good folks go live at 10. I think we got plenty of time. We're waiting for 6 if anyone wants to hop in. Let's go. Slayton is as close to a wide receiver handcuff as you can get. If Neighbors goes down, he's seeing 10 plus targets. And I certainly hope Neighbors doesn't go down. But yeah, he's capable of carrying the load and having some pretty big spike weeks. Who Aim says use Steve's if you know him in real life. All right. Yeah, again, I feel bad because I think I told Steve I would, and then I realized I vaguely remember actually signing up years ago, or a couple of years ago when I was in a non-DraftKings state at the time, and I needed a fix, and then I don't think I actually did anything, but we will see. Loot GM, thank you so much for coming in. Yeah, and Who Aims I do. It's so funny knowing Steve in real life. I just saw him in a YouTube thumbnail. I'm like, I know that guy. So small world, but he's definitely one of the nicest and most genuine people I know in real life. I'm not just saying that. I would have said that even not on a best ball stream. He's an awesome guy. And I'm glad he's doing this, because he has a lot of really good insight. And huge Commanders fan, huge Commanders fan. All right, let's see. We're waiting for 2. If anyone wants to hop in, please feel free. It's a little bit different. I agree if you haven't felt RB, but you can't sacrifice wide receiver 3 too hard. BR is just 2 if you remember correctly. Yeah, I guess it's more just a scoring format when you think about who you want. Let's say you could just fill your team in after the fact. You're probably going to fill it with a running back. But I do recognize positional scarcity is the thing. But I think we may have just taken it a step too far. Dirty P says the dreaded 3663. No, it's fine. I liked your team. Fantasy Football Garage GM. Thanks for coming in this morning. I think I caught your stream last night, but I was busy and I couldn't actually participate in the chat. So I just wanted to say hello now. Pathology, lean into your experience of your hits. Yeah, 100%. And I think everyone does that, right? Like, uh, Liam had been a big proponent of the 2 QB strategy because when he won BBM, he had Allen and Justin Fields contributed like 4 points the whole season, and I imagine that probably colored his experience a bit. I think this year he's more in on the 3 QBs, but yeah, I think we all kind of, take what has worked for us and translate it to how we build. But again, I try to vary my structures. I try not to lock into too much. I'll definitely build where I have my receiver in the flex, but I'm certainly sympathetic to the running back in the flex argument. Dirty P says running back prices are going bananas. All those wide receivers on PUP are causing RB flips. Yeah, but then again, I think also Judkin's arrest is just pulling everyone into this vortex down. Strong receiver room for Dirty P. Yeah, yours was good. It's tight end. Sorry, I thought I was caught up on chat. I was not. Love Rashad White too. Tim likes your team. Needs redemption. All right. Dirty P, I see you in here at the 12. I have not gone through. I was talking with all of you guys. Got to get more Higbee. Yeah, I should probably be taking more Higbee, right? Like, why not? Wild call to not wave away. I love it. I missed. Sorry, Greg. I know I not waved something. I don't know if it was something with the tight ends. I think the Packers lead the league in 12 personnel this year. Flyer to get me different. I like it. I mean, I imagine he actually has contingent upside, and you don't get a lot of tight ends with true contingent upside. Steve is the best. A hard agree there, Tim. Bookends better than neighbors. Yeah, no, stay over on your side of things. Hey, Tyler, GM, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out this morning. Really appreciate having you in here. So let's see. I missed out. Who do we have in this room? We've got. I got the 1 hole, so I just took Jamar Chase without any fanfare. We have a different Tyler, not. All right, so I think it's just Dirty P. Got in this room. You might have said, but are you doing any badge bros or rookies and sophomores? I will be doing badge bros. I thought I was going to have time for 2 BBMs and a badge bros, but I think I'm only going to have time for this BBM unless it goes really fast, because I think the badge bros is going to take too long. But if not, I will do that. But yeah, I like Badge Bros Brawls. It was one of the finals I made last year, but I was saying this morning, I completely forgot the meta. I don't know how my team even looked. So I don't know. I don't even know what worked for me last season. I think as we were talking earlier, you just take good players. Because every team looks like a super team. And of course, Skeletor saying good morning to Mr. Emo Cowboy. Back. Yes, I only did like 9 rookies and sophomores, but that was because I was in a non-underdog state, and I only got 9 off before I left. But I'm back home now. So we took Jamar Chase here. So let's see, we're at the 1. I think it's getting a little cute to pass on Bucky Irving. I know I said I might take an elite quarterback over here. We're going to take Bucky. You know what? Let's do Bucky and Jaden Daniels. Let's pull Daniels all the way over to the left. Try to get a little creative. Try to build a combination that doesn't happen too often. Yes, there's going to be people that got Daniels at 48. I think that's going to be pretty rare. I don't think that's too common. His ADP is 38, so that does mean he occasionally will get pulled out here. But I can't worry about the 15 teams in the contest where that happened. Like I do want to try some different stuff. So we're going to go elite quarterback on the left and see how this works. Generally, I've liked how this has worked when I've tried this with Lamar, because if you take Lamar Jackson here, and then at 48, Zay Flowers ADP lines up, and because Flowers goes at like 53, so you can pretty reliably get him at 48 if you have Lamar. So you can get some interesting combinations with Chase and Lamar that you don't see. Again, we'll try Chase and Jaden Daniels and see what works. Again, I have one Jaden Daniels team in BBM. I want to fix that, and let's see if on stream we can't try something different. You made finals for multiple contests last year. Yeah, I made a big board finals was my big one, and then Badge Bros Brawl, and then like the Schnauzer 42 and the mini puppy 17, like some just real, and like the flock 6. I made 6 finals on Underdog, but I didn't like place super high in any of them. I didn't have any Jamar Chase teams, and I didn't have any Jonathan Taylor. So the finals were just a disaster. I had a very bad week. Hartman maxed rookies and sophomore. Yeah, gosh, rookies and sophomores is so fun. I wish I'd been able to max it because you can just rip those so fast, and it's a great contest. It really is. It's one of my favorites all year. So that's cool. You got to do that. DQ 105 pulled up Evans with Bucky and Chase feels clean. Yeah, exactly. DQ stuff like that, like getting just unique combos that don't really sacrifice too much projection. Like, yeah, Harrison and Devontae are definitely going to project a little bit better than Evans, but how many teams are going to have, Evans and Bucky? Like it's going to be hard to get that on the wraparound. Maybe you can get Bucky and Evans in the middle of the board. But it is pretty tough. You have to get pretty darn, things have to really break your way to make that happen. All right, so let's see what's coming around to us. Of course, McLaurin will never make it back to the left. Feels like Jalen Hurts over here. Well, it would have been nice maybe if we hadn't taken Daniels, but that's okay. Let's queue up. I think we just take what the room gives us, right? A little sliver of ADP value on both Metcalf and JMO. I don't think I say no to that. This is fine. And Ken Walker would have been a perfectly reasonable pick for us there, but we'll go anchor running back with Bucky. And so far of the team is Jaden Daniels, Bucky Irving, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, and Jameson Williams. So if nothing else, this is kind of unique. I don't think there's going to be a ton of this exact construction out there. So, again, just trying some different stuff. Trying some different stuff out here. It's crazy to make multiples. Hey Tim, thank you. I think I was in like 1,000 drafts, so I better make some finals in there. But yeah, I'm really hoping BBM is like what everyone wants. I would trade it all for one BBM final and just having a sweat in that contest. I had 5 semis teams in BBM, and none of them advanced, which was a bummer. It would have been cool to get one through, but again, I didn't have Higgins or Taylor on any of those, so I wouldn't have had a high finish anyway, but would have been cool to make it. Lay the house arm. Back to our 70s porn music. Yes. Well, there was demand for the Ducks, and so we had to get that going. I think, is it Night Driving the other one that's playable? All right, I'll switch the music, but this might be even more 70s porn. Lay the house RM. So you're gonna be the arbiter of I can't even say Best Ball After Dark, because Pete took like the best name in a late night best ball show and just stamped it. So late night best ball. You can call in with your best ball questions, or your need some dating advice or something. I think there's a market for that, but again, can't do it because Pete took the best name for that program already. Scudder says, I think the week 16 sweat greater than the week 17 sweat. Yeah, I almost agree, because it's a smaller, there's smaller contests. It's a little easier to follow. The week 17 sweat is more like sweating like a big DFS contest. And if you play much DFS, you can just be out of it at like 11:15 p.m. You're just like, oh, nope, that guy I faded that's 40% owned just scored a 70-yard touchdown. Like, all right, I'm cooked. So yeah, I think I agree. The week 17 sweat is pretty awesome. Also, I mean, the week 16 sweat. Also, by week 17, you just don't have as much. But you know what? If I'm in the BBM final, I'm gonna say the exact opposite next year. I'll be like, no, the week 17 sweat's the greatest, man. You just gotta get you just gotta get there. But until I do, nah, week 16. That's where the real fun is at. Let's go to our week 17. You have a decent idea of what you need to go right. Week 16 is a chaotic sweat, or maybe week 17 wasn't as sweaty since my BBM finals RB room died. Yep, that's what happens. It's you can just have your whole sweat just go down in flames early. So, all right, let's see what's coming to us. Dirty P over there. So he went Genty Henry. So super high T start. Evans, and then. According to Pete again, you can't say Tet McMillan anymore. So Tetoria McMillan, I've never said his full name out loud, so that could have gone worse. And Joe Mixon and Caleb Johnson. So Dirty P taking the win the flex with running back advice deeply to heart, passing on the wide receiver. Sorry, I was getting excited. Debo, no, I wanted Debo so bad. I knew it. I knew when it was Godwin or Debo, then this was going to fall apart on me. That's okay. I'm going to let's see. I'm going to take Pacheco and Montgomery here. At the very least, I'm going to take Pacheco. I don't take much Montgomery. I do have JMO. So maybe it does make sense to do that. I could also take Laporta, who I like quite a bit, but I have a lot of Laporta. I don't have a ton of Montgomery. So let's start this team with Jaden Daniels, Bucky Irving, Isaiah Pacheco, David Montgomery, and then Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, and Jamison Williams. Would have been really nice to get Deebo Samuel, but we were one pick off of it. And again, I said when I talked about doing this push that I would need a couple spots of fall to get Debo, and it didn't work, but I think the concept is there. I think there's a concept of taking Jaden Daniels on the left side of the board and then planning to pair him with Debo, but obviously you're more likely to get it the more you slide back towards the right there. Dirty P says rookies and sophomores. I'm drafting rookies and seniors. Let's see. Genty, Young, Henry, Ancient, Evans, Ancient, McMillan, Rookie, Mixon, Ancient, Caleb, Rookie. Yep, you are following that. So if my let's see who you take here. If you continue the trend, my team's kind of in the middle. I don't really have much of a theme here, other than the players you need to win BBM 6. No, probably not. Probably not. But you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind the way this team's coming together. Again, maybe we'll get like a Zach Ertz later to at least have somebody with Jaden Daniels there. All right, so Dirty P, he adds Baker Mayfield with Egbuka. Love that. I think that's going to be very common. I think you're going to see this more and more, the 7-8 turn of Egbuka Mayfield double taps. Now, I know you already had Evans, but I think people even without Evans are going to start doing that a lot. And that's, I think, only going to further the pressure of Mayfield over towards the right side of the board from his occasional kind of wandering over to the left. I think that's going to become more and more rare. All right, Laporta went all the way at 83. That was nice for Nick over there. And he has Amon-Ra. So if we want Goff, thinking ahead, he has no quarterback. So if I want Goff, I would have to take him at 96 or 97. And I just frankly do not want Goff that badly, especially with Daniels already on the team. Burrow, I was not ever really going to prioritize Burrow when I had Daniels, but he didn't even come close to making it around. Just as a footnote to that, Mark Andrews at 91 is pretty early. It's not like he has Lamar. The Lamar drafter had Kittle. But even the Lamar drafter is probably not taking Mark Andrews at 89. That's aggressive there. So let's see what the room is presenting to us. And folks, it's honestly not giving us a whole heck of a lot here. We'll see. We'll probably take one of Pittman or Higgins if they are there. If they are both gone, then Travis Kelce makes sense. We already have Pacheco, so maybe building that out. So maybe this is Higgins Kelce. I kind of like that. don't think I have a need to take a second quarterback. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Judkins, Etienne, they would be fine, but let's just make sure that we lock up a fourth receiver that we're somewhat interested in. Stroud becomes a potential second quarterback option. Just kind of looking through what our options are going to be. Can't pair Chase. Metcalf, Rodgers goes pretty late. I have a hunch Goff will not come back to us. And then Stroud is there at, where do you go, Mr. Stroud? Stroud at 132 puts us in a position where we would have to, he would have to come all the way back around to us because we pick at 121. And so Stroud's natural position is over here, probably because the Nico Collins drafter usually, is going to take them with this, pick 130 to 135 pick. You're going to see that, most of your drafts, but now with Slot Demon out there, it's possible that we see Stroud going into some different places. ATX Bearcat GM boys. Hey, GM to you, ATX Bearcat. Thanks so much for popping in this morning. Appreciate the hangout. And also, it's been an hour and 6 minutes, and I have not asked. If you can, please like and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, it would mean a lot to me. We're on the road to 200 subs. That would be awesome. I'm scared to even look at the like counter because it's I have not asked, so it might be it might be pretty low. But you know what? That's okay. I'm just glad you all are hanging out. But if you could take a second to do that, it would be greatly appreciated. Let's see. Dirty P takes Williams and Burden, so he does another instant stack on the turn. I see Dirty P. He likes these. Just add water, get your stack kind of thing. That makes sense. As anticipated, the Amon-Ra plus Laporta drafter does take Jared Goff. I would have been shocked if that went down any other way. But yep, here we go. Let's see what's coming to us at 120. Thinking about what we want to do there. Interesting, Bo Nix hasn't gone. So, I think the Sutton drafter is probably in this range. We'll see if they get a nice discount there. I love Dobbins. I love Scatabo. I would be more than happy to get any of those guys. Najee is pretty much off my board at this point. Ramondre's okay. But yeah, wide receiver is grim. I mean, Christian Kirk is here. So, if Dobbins and Scatabo go, then I think I will literally just take Slot Demon and Stroud back to back. I think that's the plan here. Warren and Njoku are fine. I probably just take 3 tight ends on this team. I like Tucker Kraft a lot, but I think the Stroud double would be kind of interesting there. If it's Scatabo, then we might just go Scatabo and all right, so Scatabo's gone. So now the plan really is the Kirk Stroud double. I could also do a Drake May Kyle Williams double, but I think I would rather just do this. I think this is fine, and we'll just hope that it's just not Nico Collins' year. So far, recapping the team, we've got 2-3-5-1. We've got Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud with Bucky Irving, Isaiah Pacheco, and David Montgomery. So kind of a interesting running back room. Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Jameson Williams, and then Jaden Higgins and Christian Kirk holding down the wide receiver room, along with Travis Kelce. So again, kind of an interesting team. Maybe I could have tried to push Stroud, but I don't know. I don't end up with a lot of this sort of Higgins, Kirk, Stroud combo. Trying something a little different in this room. Hopefully this can work out. Who Aim says all it takes is a few injuries to ruin a lot of teams. Yeah, we always forget just how bad the injuries can be until you're just like clicking through your random teams, and it's like, oh yeah, this, my 6th round pick is out for the year. Oh, I lost my 3rd and my 4th round pick. This team is super dead. Yeah, Slot Demon. Yuck. I know. I wish I'd never heard that name, Slot Demon, because I think I've been psyoped, but I don't know. He's at the very least, live to to have some early season production. I mean, Kirk every year is good until he gets hurt. And so, what if he doesn't get hurt? What if he doesn't get hurt? Dirty P, the power of the turn, just add water. Yeah, that's what you've been doing. Let's see if you find another, let's see if you find another stack over here. It's, it'll be interesting. Sometimes you used to be able to get the love craft at the turn, but now craft has been moving up. So it's harder and harder to pull that maneuver off. But Hartman says taking Stroud with May off the board should be illegal. Yes, I am actually, I will never be able to work at Leg Up Industries because that is now on my permanent record. The fact that I took Stroud with Drake May on the board, it is literal heresy to them. Hartman, you should at a minimum go on a list. Hey, I had a plan. You know what? It actually sounds worse when you explain it. It's like, no, I couldn't take Drake May because I really needed Christian Kirk. It's like, I think you're making it worse. I think when you're explaining it, you're making it worse. Jump Free, though, this guy, he's already got his goat horns, and now he gets Craft and Love. He gets the instant stack there. So, some people just get all the breaks, and Jump Free appears to be one of those lucky people where things just work out for them. But no, I do like the Lovecraft combo quite a bit. Let's see. Dylan Sampson. By the way, these are the latest and greatest Davis Maddock rankings. I like his rankings. I haven't used rankings in a while, so I just plugged them in. So he's got Sampson up quite a bit. A little early by ADP, but honestly, that might not last that long. And I don't think I have any Dylan Sampson in this contest. All right, so just thinking about quarterback. I'll probably try to get Aaron Rodgers later. Boy, this range is pretty grim. It's pretty grim. I'm tempted to just do Bryce Young and Leggett. No, let me take Fergie. All right, I got Ferguson. I think I actually want Ferguson and a running back. So I'll take Ferguson Algier. As much as Sampson is kind of tempting, I don't know where Sampson's going to rise to. Maybe that was bad. Maybe I should take Sampson before the steam gets super steamy. But Sampson should have been the pick, because if I am really going to take Aaron Rodgers, that's a week 17. So that was probably bad. But I'm not upset about taking Algier. I think Algier is a perfectly fine pick in that scenario there. Dirty P ended up going Kyle Williams and Isaiah Likely on his team. So he did not get another stack, but he did get a good tight end out of the mix. So Sampson went immediately after me to Ramen. So that appears to be maybe that's if Lady Gaga fell on hard times and was ordering ramen. I don't know if that's what they're going for, but either way, they took Dylan Sampson. So maybe I should have done it. Greg says, I wore that Lovecraft stack out in pre-draft so free. Yeah. Those days are long gone. Who Hames is out on Sampson now, with the theory that he's already too expensive if Judkins gets 6 games. Yeah, I just wonder what the Judkins is. I mean, it's really in limbo, right? It's anywhere from, commissioner's exempt list until Goodell changes his mind, which could never happen, or he gets a solid, 6 games, or he doesn't get suspended at all. There's a huge range of outcomes. I was kind of I didn't love Sampson. I took some of him pre-draft once he was, kind of in running back Siberia in Cleveland. I backed off of him. So I didn't have any, which now kind of sucks because I do have Judkins. I do want to get that exposure up a little bit, and maybe that was actually the time to do it, but I'm still warming up to it. I don't know. I see a lot of pads where Dylan Sampson is kind of a kind of mediocre pick there. Who Hames has 70% Sampson in pre-draft. So that's a nice feeling when you already have bags packed. But yeah, I mean, Sampson could end up in the 120s, 130s. And then it's at that point, are we really, do we want to take him there? I guess. All right, so let's see. I think it's man, I hate taking Aaron Rodgers with Cam Warren on the board, but maybe the theme is is taking the worst quarterback when the better quarterback is available. Okay, I didn't think he was going to make it just because these two people both need quarterbacks. Rah Rahman, don't take Aaron Rodgers from me. Come on, take Sam Darnold or Tyler Shuck. You don't need Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't make sense on your team. Dear God. Okay, well, we didn't get Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty unfortunate. Rahman has taken everything that I love. We're going to take Ertz here, and then what are we gonna do? Do we take Darnold? I'm not gonna panic and just take Sam Darnold because I need somebody. I'm gonna take Wandale. I think you all see where this is going with the Wandale pick, but that was unfortunate. I really thought I would get Aaron Rodgers there. Not that I would have taken Aaron Rodgers in at pick 145. I think that would have been a little panicky, but just the way this room shook out, it kind of stinks that that the guy immediately next to me decided they needed unstacked Aaron Rodgers to really round out their team. And he takes Jonnu. Okay, good job, Rahman. All right. Yeah, he left you the ramen. He didn't even leave me the ramen, ATX Bearcat. He left me the empty ramen packet. Like now I gotta clean that up. And they spilled the the little thing full of salty seasoning. Just terrible stuff from Lady Gaga's alt over there. Chad loves A-Rod. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, first I take Stroud over May. Then I get upset when I get sniped on Aaron Rodgers. This has not been my CV for old leg up over there. Who Hames says, do we think the 2-hole mixes ramen flavors like a 5-year-old at the slushy line? Yeah. Did you all have a name for that? We would call that a graveyard where I grew up, where you would just go through, and I guess this was not the slushy, but the Coke machines, and you would just put a little of each of it and call it a graveyard. And God, that thing, like I'm not even a big soda drinker now. It's just so disgusting. But yeah, basically equally disgusting what Ramen has done to my team here. The Sims stay unstacked dirt QB is good. Blame leg up. We're all looking for the guys who did this. And unfortunately, this time we actually know who they are. But hey, I got Zach Ertz. I was able to stack Zach Ertz with Jaden Daniels on this team. Dirty P, things are just going super well for Dirty P over there. He gets Thielen and Bryce Young. So Dirty P for the third time gets a stack on his turn. You know the meme with like the people on the sides of the bus? Like I'm the guy on the left side of the bus staring at the canyon wall. And Dirty P, is getting the beautiful view of the meadow. It's just a shame. It's just a shame, but you know what? That's the cross I bear here in the 1 hole. Who Hames says, I took a 4th QB, stacked Bryce Young 30 picks past ADP and hated it. I think I was watching that one where you took four QBs, and you also took Dylan Gabriel in a different draft. So you know what? we all do what we've got to do to get by in this world here. All right, let's see. Sam Darnold, I would have taken. Jalen Knoll would be nice to add to the slot demon team. Darius Slayton makes sense if we really are doing Jackson Dart things. If Jackson Dart is gone, then we could take Juwan Johnson and Tyler Shuck here. So we have some plans. I don't know if I love Knoll and Kirk. Feels a little wonky. All right, so Rahman's going to take Calvin Austin. All right, why are you taking more quarterbacks? God, this person is killing me here. All right, I'm just going to take Slayton and Dart and go on my merry way. So yeah, Dirty P on the turn. Let's see what Dirty P gets to do. He gets to do Egbuka and Baker. He gets to do Caleb and Burden. What do I get? I get Jackson Dart and Darius Slayton. Now, how is this fair? How is this fair at all? You tell me, folks. But you know what? Yeah. And in this rah-rah ramen, I think he thought I wanted Russell Wilson, by the way. I think he tried to snipe me again because he doesn't even have any Giants on his team. This guy's just thought, that he was going to deny me of the one thing I wanted. But joke's on you, rah-rah ramen. I didn't want him. Made sense, just hated doing it. Okay, gotcha. No, I took 4 and 2 yesterday. Only done it 3 times this entire offseason at 600 drafts. All right, I don't know. You seemed awfully comfortable doing it, like a man who's taken 4 QBs, on his own time without us knowing. I don't know, who Hames. I don't know. Greg says, big Slayton program. Love to see it. Yeah, it's a tough scene. And again, last draft, I was like, I don't want to take the same late round people every time. And then I'm like, literally like, Darius Slayton's the only guy you can click in this range. But to be fair to me, if I had Aaron Rodgers, I would have taken Calvin Austin. I was prepared to take Jalen Noel. I think I also would have mixed up the Tyler Shuck thing, but I'd already taken Wandale. So I did want to, I did want to actually like make Jackson Dart more than just a skinny on this particular team. So to go over the team, we've got a 3-4-7-3. Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud, Jackson Dart, Bucky Irving, Isaiah Pacheco, David Montgomery, Tyler Algier, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Jamison Williams, Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk, Wandale Robinson, and Darius Slayton, in a tight end room of Travis Kelce, Jake Ferguson, and Zach Ertz. Thinking about it, maybe would have been better to take one less tight end and one more running back. But if I'm thinking of Pacheco as the RB1 in Kansas City, then I'm okay with Bucky, Pacheco, and Montgomery kind of leading the charge. Feels a little thin. This does, for a 5 running back team, feel like I should have used a slightly more capital there, especially actually believing that I do want to fill my flex with a running back, and that's going to be a little bit hard here. I think Montgomery is fine, but he's not a name I'm super excited about filling out the flex. So, all right, let's see. The leg uppers would say this is karma for taking Stroud over May, 100%. And they would be right, Joel. They would be right. I may have made a mistake there. I heard Calvin Austin has a starting role in the new Smurfs movie. I know you're joking. That'd be great if there was a new Smurfs movie, but there probably isn't. I don't actually... Poor Calvin Austin. He's much maligned in the Slappy community, but I feel like he's going to be okay. Hartman, I don't mix up my clicks, but I believe I was thinking about it. That's progress. Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do, Hartman. If there's one thing you learn. Greg says, gotta beat Wandale out for that role. Tough. Greg, who's got to beat Wandale? I'm sorry. I think I missed. Who you were talking about there. Dirty P says, I know for a fact I have not drafted this team. That's all. Dirty P, your team, I like your team. Your team makes a lot of sense. All right, let's see. If we don't get Marshawn Lloyd, which we won't because Ramen's going to take him. Oh, man, I got to actually take my own advice sometime and not just take the same clicks with just Taj Brooks at the end of the draft. All right, we'll take Jordan James here. I don't take much. I do think there is something to be said for trying to get the Niners running back or backup back, and it could potentially be Jordan James. So let's take a swing here on Jordan James. So this team ends up being a 3-5-7-3. I recapped it just a moment ago, but we just add Jordan James to that team. Let's see what Dirty P did, and then we'll get out of here right before the good folks over at Ship Chasing or ADP Chasing come on. A 3-4-9-2. Baker Mayfield, Caleb Williams, and Bryce Young. So he goes Genty, Henry, Mixon, and Kate. So he kind of goes hyper fragile running back. Interesting build structure, but I like it. I mean, you swung for the fences with running back, and then you stopped, and I think that makes sense. You had a plan and stuck to it. Mike Evans, Tet McMillan. I don't have a swear jar like Pete, so I can say Tet McMillan still. Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden, Kyle Williams, Adam Thielen, Dante Thornton, Dontavian Wicks, and MVS. All guys I like. And then a tight end room of Likely and Gesicki. I do have to say I probably would have made MVS or Wicks a tight end myself, just with Likely and Gesicki feels slightly thin. And I don't, I think your wide receivers are all really good, but that's just how I would have built. I'm over here drafting Stroud ahead of May, so you don't have to listen to me at all. But overall, I like your team, and obviously, if Likely does have the breakout year, then I think it, team could really pay off. Oh, Wandale could be in the Smurfs movie, yeah. Tough scene for the Short King Summer here. It's hard to like the teams when you're not playing the hits, but Dirty P, you got to do it, right? Because you can't just play the hits. If you just play the hits, then you're the hits seem like hits now, but in December, sometimes that song that you skipped over, all of a sudden you're that's like your new favorite song. And you weren't playing it, and you're happy you kept the whole CD because you still have that track you really like. I really went too far with that analogy, and I said CD, which just absolutely just turns me into dust. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for coming in. This was a really fun stream. If you can, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. I am hoping to do some Badge Bros. I don't think I have enough time for Badge Bros, doesn't it? How big are the teams? How big are the teams? There's 18 rounds. Yeah, I don't think I can. I don't think I'll be able to squeeze it in. If I could, I would. Tomorrow we'll do some Badge Bros. I promise. I will make sure to prioritize that because I do like that contest. But maybe this will let me. You know what? Maybe I won't do any till tomorrow. I don't know. I can't promise that because I'm gonna get antsy and rip some Badge Bros. But I won't think too hard about it. I can promise you I won't think too much about it. But you know what? I could say that with most things. Dirty P committed to the tight end. Fine. All right. Well, hey, everybody, thank you again so much. And I'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone.